Okay, so this is going to go a little later than usual. I do apologize, but New York Rangers was released earlier this morning, I believe. New York Rangers they released a 100th Sentinel jersey, so basically for the 100th anniversary. So take a look at it. It's based off their original uniform. Original uniform looks really cool. So um, yeah. So this morning, yep. Yep. So pretty much, yeah. So I do. It's all you need. Like really very simple for the Rangers. All you really need is very simple. It's really nice. And it goes to Rangers. Uh, I can have some people like conflicted on this, but it's the Rangers. They've done it for so long. It would honestly be so weird to see the Rangers not do this at all. It'd be so weird to see that. So yep. So it's a off white here. It says off white. It's based off their inaugural jerseys from inaugural from 26, 27, 19, 26, 27. So I can crazy to think about. Anyway, so basically you got like a, like of course back in the day they didn't have the player names. They did. Sorry, I die. Oh shit. Of course back then they didn't have a player names. It was just the numbers back then. I think the numbers. I mean the name. So it came was a thing until the, if I would say mid 70s. That's when they once had the player names on them, so to just make it like much easier. So, um, but yeah, here this is it. It's actually really cool. I actually like this actually. Now this is just gonna be like a I think I'm not sure this. I don't think this will replace the ultimate. I don't think so. I think this is just be like a specialty jersey. So it'll take period. It's pretty cool. Now we don't see the full uniform. We just see Mark Messier, just wearing the jersey, not the full uniform itself. My guess is probably going to have like the default, like the typical, pants they always wear, and they'll match like socks with these. More like that's my guess. Have like matching color helmet more likely, especially what they'll do. So because I was like back then they did players they did not wear helmets at all. I think it was until the 80s, I believe the 80s that they sort of wear helmets, so make things a lot safer. So we got the red apple with a 100 on it, new tribute to Madison Square Garden. So it's like a lot of versions of a Madison Square Garden. I think the current version is the fourth version. So there's like a bunch of different versions of Madison Square Garden, but they just, I guess they just like kept the name. So, which I mean, it would be weird to hear like the Rangers or the Knicks playing in something that's not called a Madison Square Garden. So let's be honest on that one. First game was against Montreal Maroons. New Times have the emphasis that day has a dark blue thread, red and white stripes. Rather than the lighter blue, the club has bases the original hue. So basically, so back then they really did wasn't like back then they had to like do you had to get your stuff, your news, basically from either the paper or the radio. Because back then, of course, TVs were not invented, like back in the 1920s, obviously. So, and like I guess, and of course, you just had pictures of you just had black and white pictures at the time. So it was really hard to see back then. But I guess like you just have to go there in person and just see what it looked like, basically. Uh, Typography featured on the front, beautiful photo of in the 40s. Yep, yep. So basically, they just like changed up the jersey quite a bit. But yeah, so like typical like block font, typical like the nice little curved nameplate that I almost said Rangers. I almost said it's Rangers. Okay, so basically, it's all like most of the 100 Centennial uniforms here. I'll talk about that a little bit. So, yes, right here. So, Rangers was sort of set for 10 games, and it's gone for good. Yep. So 1 year only. Let's see. Let's see. So this one's about the Marc Messier. Close of the century on a franchise. Yeah. So Centennial jersey paying tribute, which is really cool. Base color model off the sweater of the Rangers won a knock the season to show the team's colors paid. Yep. So, um, it's basically like so they don't have to actually have an ad, which is really good. But I think it's just a thing for Marc Messier. I think that's to be his like LA maybe the timing is something like that. I'm not sure. I don't know. Um, it's yeah, I think it's like the time. Yeah, so Game 7 Sports and Team Adventures on the other. Yeah, so Mark Bessie is Game 7. So I'm not sure what that really is. If hopefully it's not an ad, but if it is, it's a really good idea to have it on. I don't think it's an ad because it's a show up on here. So I don't think it's like full blown. It probably just like a one time thing probably. Anyway. So here are the jerseys, well, most of the Centennial jerseys. Blackhawks is probably the Blackhawks is probably the worst one. Don't get me wrong, this Blackhawks jersey is a good jersey in general. Don't get me wrong, but this they didn't do shit with this at all. They just added the gold outline, but you swing mistake for tan, and they made the color black, and they had like gold outlines on the numbers. So you really didn't do that much, honestly. Bruins had a pretty good style. Really like the Bruins ones. I wish Maple Leafs would have done. So I bought the Venus jersey back, and then it was the NHL 100 Classic they had. Detroit's one is fucking amazing. Detroit Rangers, there's amazing, by the way. I like bobble pole jerseys. I like bobble pole jerseys, but this is a way too many stripes. But it was like from early 1900s, so so yeah. But anyway. That's what I apologize for this video going up very late. I do apologize about that. But anyway, that's about it. And I will see you guys later.